All right, today we're going to talk about a really cool concept called vibe space. It's this powerful idea that's turning our city's most overlooked, dead zones into these amazing hubs of creativity and community.
So think about it. The last time you walked through your city or your town, you definitely saw them. Those vacant storefronts, the empty lots, the for lease signs just gathering dust. But what if we started looking at those spaces not as signs of decay, but as, well, as blank canvases, just full of potential? Because here's the thing, these empty spaces are so much more than just an eyesore. They actually represent a huge missed opportunity, and they come with this hidden cost that really affects the entire community.
The damage here is kind of like a double whammy. On the one hand, you've got the economic hit, lost rent for property owners, lost tax revenue for the city, but the social impact? That's just as bad. It literally drains the energy from a neighborhood, creating these empty pockets where community should be, and it just leaves this feeling that things are on the decline.
Okay, so what if there was a way to actually reverse all of that? Well, this is where the vibe space concept comes into play. It's an innovative, it's creative, and honestly, it's a surprisingly simple solution to this really common urban problem.
So, what is a vibe space exactly? Well, at its core, it's the transformation of a property that's just sitting there, dormant, into a dynamic hub for work, art, entertainment, you name it. And the key, the absolute game changer, is that it's designed to be done with minimal upfront investment.
This phrase right here really gets to the heart of it. It's a complete mental shift. You stop seeing an empty building as a liability, and you start seeing it as pure, untapped potential, just waiting for someone to unlock it. And here's why this concept is just so powerful. First off, it flips a financial black hole that's draining money into an asset that's actually generating income. Second, it uses smart design to lower the cost, so it's easier for property owners to get on board. Third, it creates a much-needed hub for people to connect. And finally, it's super adaptable, meaning it can work just about anywhere, from a rooftop to an old retail lot. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds like a nice, feel-good idea, but does it actually make money? Well, you might be surprised. The economics behind it are incredibly compelling. There's a really solid business case here. Just take a look at the demand for flexible spaces. We're not talking about small growth here. The global co-working market is projected to more than triple by 2030. That's a growth rate of over 19% every single year. This is a massive wave of demand for exactly the kind of agile, experience-driven places that vibe spaces create. And for property owners, this is the number that should really make their ears perk up. The typical return on investment is just 12 to 18 months. Think about that for a second. That's a tiny fraction of the time it takes to see a return on a traditional big money retail or office build-out. So, where's all that money coming from? It's not just one thing, which is what makes the model so smart. It's this diversified mix of income. You've got your recurring memberships, one-off events, room rentals, partnerships with companies, and even food and retail. This whole mix makes the business way more resilient and, of course, profitable. And the benefits just ripple outward. Get this. In one example, an empty department store was converted into a vibe space, and foot traffic for the entire mall jumped by 40%. It became this anchor that lifted up every single business around it. But as powerful as the financial case is, the impact of vibe spaces goes so much deeper. It's really about building the very fabric of a community. It creates this amazing virtuous cycle. So first, an empty space gets activated. That gives local artists, entrepreneurs, you name it, a platform they didn't have before. Then their unique work starts drawing in crowds, and that in turn helps the entire local ecosystem, from the coffee shop next door to the artists themselves, to just thrive. Okay, so we've seen the potential and the purpose, but how does this actually get done? How do you make it happen? Let's take a look at the blueprint that makes these incredible transformations possible. The secret ingredient here is really modular design. See, unlike traditional construction, which is slow and permanent, a modular approach is a total game changer. It can slash project timelines in half and cut costs. But most importantly, it creates spaces that can adapt and change as the community's needs evolve. It's just faster, cheaper, and way more flexible. A perfect example of this in the real world is the Vibes CoSpace in Ho Chi Minh City. This place is amazing. It uses something called bioclimatic design, which basically means it's designed to work with the local climate, using natural airflow and bamboo shades. But the most incredible part?
It has an interactive facade that creates its own peaceful sounds. It's not just a building, it's a full-on multi-sensory experience.
So when you step back and look at the big picture, you see that the Vibe Space concept isn't just some clever business model. It's actually part of a much bigger, more sustainable vision for the future of our cities. And think about this. There's been a 500% jump in interest for spaces that are sustainably certified. That one stat tells you everything you need to know about where the market is going. By focusing on repurposing buildings that already exist, Vibe Spaces are perfectly in sync with this huge demand for a more sustainable future. So the most important thing to take away from all this is simple, but it's really powerful. The next time you walk past one of those vacant lots or empty storefronts, don't just see what's missing. Try to see the opportunity. Which really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. What are the limitless possibilities hiding in plain sight in your own community? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.